In the second video, I'm going to walk through the part 2 of the exercise, so capturing your field data. Again, you're going to need to walk around, work as a group, and capture one kind of indicator or one kind of piece of information in the neighborhood. So we're going to start here in logging again into ArcGIS Online. And there's a little option up here in the top of the screen that has these little buttons. And there's going to be a lot more that you'll have that'll be a little overwhelming. So you'll see all these icons. The one you're looking for is just Survey 123. So just click that. This will then open up the application where you can manage, view, create surveys. I'll pause there for 1 second. The most important thing for you to work together as a team to do is first understand what kind of map you want to create, what kind of analysis or data information product are you going to have by the end of next week, because that should drive everything you're looking to capture and all the attributes and data you'll be collecting in the field. So don't just dive right in here first and build something out and then go capture data. Really sit down and work as a team together to think, what kind of information do we need to capture, and make sure you plan through the different fields and ways you can collect that information. Also, only one of you really needs to do this, and I'll show you how the rest of you can download the survey, the one survey your team builds out, and then all capture data and information directly to that survey. So I'm going to hit here, Get Started on the blank survey. In the background, it's going to create that survey for me. And now something that's actually really important to help you find this survey later and all of you search for it, give it a really unique name so that you as a team members can find this and search. I'm going to call mine Baldwin Test. That should be able to help me. Hopefully I remember that. And now it's really just a question of dragging and dropping these different field types over into the survey. In the demo to all the groups, I said, hey, an image might be a great idea. So I dragged over an image. And before I do that, actually, I'll kind of step back and think through again, what was the point of what I'm trying to present? What am I going to capture in terms of data here? The one story I talked through a couple of groups with was bus stops. And so transit might be an interesting question to ask and kind of build a map out of and present your information. So I just called my survey bus stops here. That's what will pop up for the users when they have this on their phone. And so the first question is going to be a photo of the bus stop. And for this one, I want this photo to be a required question. For each bus stop, I want to make sure that all the members of your team collect and capture a photo for it. I could also specify a file count. So let's say I want to have 2 or 3 images that are part of this. And it's saying right now, number of files required is 3. Maybe I just want to have 1 as required, and people could add more photos if they want. So photo of the bus stop. Next, I want to see if there's presence of graffiti or not. So I want them to have a single choice. So here I can have choice, drag this over, and I'm going to call this presence of graffiti. And my choices are going to be yes and no. And I'm going to delete this other choice. And this one I want to be a required question. So I want, again, to make sure people are marking that question down. And then I'm going to have one more question. I think Andre said I had a great point here. Don't overcomplicate this. Keep this thing kind of simple. And I also want to know if there is a enclosed structure, if there's a roof at the bus stop. Or this could be, type of bus stop. So I'm going to say single choice, and I'm going to ask, is there a roof or structure or, something else? And this again could just be a yes and a no. And I'll delete the other one and make this required. So after I have this made, one thing you can do is hit preview down here in the bottom. This will pull up just a sample to show you what your survey and your form is going to look like. And you can test through it, okay, looks good, hit submit, and it would save your records. X out of that. So now I'm going to you could hit save, which will save this survey if you wanted to keep working on it and keep building it out. But then publish is going to make this available now for you to download it and put it onto your phone or use it somewhere else. So I'm going to hit publish. And so after it finishes publishing, it'll say okay. It kind of keeps the form up for you. This is probably one of the most important steps. So up here at collaborate, there's a little option. I'm going to click that. And I now want to be able to say to share my survey and ensure that members of the following groups in Urban Design Workshop will be able to submit questions to this survey. If we wanted to, in a perfect world, we could have multiple groups for each team. I think we'll be okay just having it shared to the general Urban Design Workshop group, since it's just our groups. What can submitters do? They can add new records. They're allowed to have multiple submissions, and it's currently open accepting. Then at the bottom, hit save. So now my survey is published, it's available, and people can go download it on their phones. So the next part of this is going to your phone, going to the App Store, and searching for Survey 123. That'll then give you this results, and you can download the application, and then you'll be able to have the surveys loaded on your phone. So I already have it opened, and so when you come here, you're going to end up using your same Yale Net ID to log into this application, which is same login for your ArcGIS Online account. The most important thing is probably here, clicking this Manage Connections, and you're going to add in a connection for the Yale Maps, .maps.arcgis, and then make sure that one is selected. Then you'll hit Sign In with your account. So then after you're logged in, you're going to click on your little name or your picture up in the top right corner. So there's a little icon of my name. And here it says Download Surveys. And so if the individual who built your survey made sure that they set the sharing correctly, you should be able to then go in here and type in and search for the survey that you created. You can see this one is already published out by me, and I'm going to click this little download cloud icon to grab that survey. And it's now on my device. So before you go out to the field, definitely do this first. And now I've got that survey on my phone, so when you're out capturing data, it's as simple as just clicking on that survey and then hitting collect. And so now you've got the same survey that you had designed, or you and your team had worked on in the phone. So I'm going to capture a photo sitting at my desk here. I'm going to say yes, there's graffiti, and is there a roof? Yes, there's a roof. And there's a little check mark in the bottom right. I'll click that. And I could either save them on my device or I could send now. This is mostly for kind of disconnected use. For all of you, you'll be walking through the city, so you should always have internet connection. And I'll hit send now. And so now as all of you are working, all of that data is just going to be sent in real time, from your phones up to the one kind of service or the one location. And the thing I didn't even mention is that basic survey I built out, which didn't even have a field related to location. If we go back to the design, just says photo, presence of graffiti, is there a roof. By default, it will also capture the location of that point where I submitted it from. And so we're done with the device, and now the last thing I wanted to show here is we've just started capturing data, we've got this configured. I'm going to come back to the organization, and then whoever built your survey will be the one that will have all of this data now stored in their account. And so it should be under a folder called Survey, and then the name that you gave your survey. So you can see here, Survey Baldwin Test. And there's a couple different items within this folder. And the most important one for you to use is then the one that has kind of none of these, suffixes on the end of them. And so this Baldwin Test, I'm then going to click the little button and say open this in the map. And this is going to be a really boring map because we just did this live, but this is showing my one map pin, and it has all of the data or attributes tied to it. So as all of you walk around and capture data, it'll show who collected the data, the time they did, and have all of the attributes for your data set. And then similar to the first assessor's map, I could then filter the data to show different records based on the attributes, or I could style the data based on the different attributes as well. You can see here I've got 2 points. I'm sitting in my part of my house right there, and I'll hit styles, and I'm going to change the attributes to say, is there graffiti? So those that have graffiti, I want to be a fill color of maybe a red, have it jump out a little bit more. And if it's a no, I want it to be green. So that was the part 2 of the exercise, is going out and capturing data. Again, I mentioned the most important parts of this are first, working as a group to understand what kind of story do you want to tell with the map, what kind of information do you need to have to actually build out your data, what attributes do you need. Secondly, only one person needs to build the survey. So you saw me walk through how to create it and also how to share it to the rest of the members of your team. So just make sure in that sharing settings, you share it with that group, the Yale Urban Design Workshop group. And then thirdly, I showed how to then download it on your phone. So all of you in the group should be able to go and download, log in, and then as you submit records, they'll get pushed up to this service that the survey owner will then have and can share or manipulate to play with the data. So good luck, and please reach out at any point if you need help with the maps, if you need help with the survey, if you have other ways you want to capture data, just reach out and ask. Good luck.